Legend of Yufei Chapter 58.
Let's get into this.
So the idea comes from Wuzhu's advisor, Hamichi. Pretty standard strategy, really.
Makes sense.
He says, look, let's invite Li Shufu. This guy holds a lot of power in the south. Getting him on side would be huge for the Jin cause.
And the description of Li Shufu himself, it's something else. The novel says he's 1 zong 2 chi tall.
Yeah, which is, well, enormous. Like something over 10 feet.
Obviously not literal, right? But it immediately tells you this isn't just some guy.
No, it's signaling legendary status. Exaggerated, sure, but it paints him as this giant, a leader whose physical presence is as imposing as his political power.
And the look of him, too. Face like blue indigo, hair like cinnabar, so bright red.
He's presented as this almost elemental force, and he arrives expecting respect. He's a king, after all.
But Wuzhu messes that up straight away.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Big diplomatic fumble. Wuzhu, even though he's a prince, doesn't come out to greet Li Shufu personally.
A major insult between equals or near equals.
It's a huge insult. Li Shufu is already fuming as he walks into the main tent.
Okay, so the mood is already bad.
Terrible. Su Shufu gives a quick, probably quite curt salute.
Yeah.
And Wuzhu, he just stares. Yeah, he sees this giant, colorful figure and seems totally captivated. The text says instead of returning the greeting, he actually moves closer.
To do what?
To compare heights.
Yeah.
Just pure curiosity about how massive this guy is.
Oh, wow. Talk about failing to read the room.
Completely. And Li Shufu, already insulted, sees Wuzhu moving towards him.
And thinks.
He thinks Wuzu's going to grab him, to seize him, maybe take him prisoner. He misinterprets the move completely.
And his reaction.
Instantaneous, no hesitation, raises his hand, one palm strike. Bam.
Knocks Wuzhu down.
Flat on his back.
Yeah.
Then Li Shufu is on his horse and out of there. Just like that.
Wow. Okay. So much for the alliance.
Pretty much over before it began. And chaos reps in the Jin camp, obviously.
They try to chase him.
Of course. Jin generals go after him. But this is where the nephew, Heyman Long, steps up.
Ah, the hammer guy.
The hammer guy. Wielding his famous bucket-sized iron hammer.
Yeah.
He single-handedly fights off several pursuers.
Seriously.
Yeah. Stops them cold. The rest just give up the chase. He's clearly formidable.
So they get away clean.
They do. And Li Shufu's conclusion is simple.
Which is?
Wuzhu is not a good person. End of story.
Huh. Okay, fair enough after that reception.
So the Jin alliance is off the table. They think, well, maybe the Song are worth checking out. Let's see if they have any real strength.
So it shifts from diplomacy to a test of strength.
Exactly. It's Heyman Long's idea, actually.
The nephew again.
He suggests they test Yufei's son, Yu Yun. Says, look, if this Yu Yun kid is actually strong, if he can match me, then we switch sides and ally with the Song.
A trial by combat, essentially.
Pretty much. But it has to be a real test. They need proof of Song capability.
Okay, so they ride over to the Song camp.
Straight over.
Yeah.
And Heyman Long doesn't waste time. Rides out, calls out a challenge, demands Yu Yun come face him, tests the little king's hammer.
He calls himself the Little King.
Well, referring to his uncle, Li Shufu the king. It's a bold challenge.
And we get a description of Heyman Long, too, right?
We do. He's young, only 16 or 17, but he's got this massive head, a black lacquer face, and he carries 2 of those bucket-sized iron hammers.
Intense. A force to be reckoned with, clearly.
Definitely. Youthful, raw power.
And then Yu Yun comes out, and there's that whole business with his title.
Oh, yeah. The contrast is stark. Before Yu Yun even fights, his full, incredibly long formal title is announced. Wuchang Kaigogong Taizi Shabao Tongshu Wenmu Bingma Dayon Shuai Yu Dagongzi Yu Yun.
Wow. Say that 3 times fast.
Right, but it's not just showing off. It signifies imperial authority, legitimacy, the whole Song power structure.
Which is exactly what Li Shufu felt he wasn't getting from the Song, that formal recognition.
Precisely. We'll get back to that. But Heyman Long, he hears the title, maybe nods, but then repeats his own grievance.
About the king title for his uncle.
Yep. Basically says, okay, nice title, but the Song still haven't given my uncle his proper due, his Feng Wang. That's why they were even considering the Jin. But the challenge stands.
And they fight.
They really do. Hammer versus hammer. It's epic.
How long does it go on?
The text says 100+ rounds by Shigiwihi.
100 rounds. That's a lot of hammering.
It signifies they were perfectly matched. The phrasing is great. Chess meets opponent. General meets good timber. Neither could win.
So a stalemate.
The complete military stalemate.
Yeah.
And this is crucial. Yu Yun realizes he can't just beat this guy into submission.
Right, because the goal isn't just to win the fight.
No, the goal is to win an ally. Brute force isn't working. So Yu Yun changes tactics.
What does he do?
He pretends to retreat, feigns weakness.
Just runs away.
Not exactly. He heads towards a specific place, the Phoenix Mountain Woods, a more secluded spot. And as he retreats, he shouts something like, "Watch out for my back-turn hammer."
A warning. Or
Yeah.
a lure.
It sounds like a bit of both. It's a way to signal, maybe I'm not beaten yet, but also seems designed to get Heyman Long to follow him, to draw him away from the main camp for a different kind of engagement.
Into a conversation.
Exactly. The fight proved they were equals in strength. Now it's time for something else.
So the fighting stops there, in the woods.
Yes. The physical stalemate forces a shift. Yun sees this isn't just about who hits harder. There's a reason they're here.
He needs to figure out the why.
Right. So he stops, catches his breath maybe, and asks the key question. Why are you, Li Shufu's nephew, a leader from Yunnan, even thinking about helping the Jin? Our enemies. Shouldn't you be with the song?
And Heyman Long tells him straight.
Immediately. Lays it all out. It boils down to that one thing.
The title.
The title. That promised feudal king title, the Feng Wang. The Song Court had promised it years ago, apparently, but never delivered.
Wait, seriously? This whole potential disaster, this powerful southern king possibly joining the Jin, it all hinged on some paperwork the Song hadn't gotten around to.
It sounds almost bureaucratic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you have to understand what that title meant.
Yeah.
For Li Shufu, it wasn't just ego. It was about legitimacy, imperial recognition. That Feng Wang title formally cemented his authority back in Yunnan, especially against any local rivals. Without it, he's just a powerful regional leader. With it, he's an officially sanctioned king within the Song imperial system.
So it was politically crucial for him, made him feel vulnerable without it.
Exactly. His power base could be challenged. The Song's delay felt like a snub, maybe even a deliberate withholding of legitimacy.
Okay, that makes more sense. So how does Yu Yun handle this?
Brilliantly, actually. He shows real diplomatic skill. First, he doesn't just dismiss the complaint.
He validates it.
He acknowledges the grievance, but then reframes it. He explains the context from the Song perspective.
Which is?
Look, the Empire's been in crisis mode. We've been dealing with constant invasions by Wuzhu, huge internal problems, and, oh yeah, our two previous emperors were captured by the Jin.
Right, the ultimate humiliation and crisis.
So Yu Yun argues, the court has been completely overwhelmed. It's not that they disrespected Li Shufu. They simply haven't had the capacity, the breathing room, to sort out titles in the south.
That's actually a pretty good argument. Shifts it from insult to circumstance.
It works. It diffuses the anger immediately. And then Yu Yun makes his move.
What's that?
He suggests they become sworn brothers. Right there, right then.
Whoa! From enemies to brothers.
Just like that. They get off their horses. They perform a simple battlefield oath ceremony using earth scooped up as incense. Kotueishan,
A pledge to heaven.
a sacred bond. Yu Yun, being slightly older, becomes the elder brother.
Amazing. So this personal connection, this oath, it solves what 100 rounds of fighting couldn't.
Instantly. It replaces the missing formal political tie with a deeply personal, honor-bound relationship. The Jin offered, well, height comparison. Yu Yun offered brotherhood and understanding.
And did he address the title issue
Oh,
again?
absolutely.
Yeah.
He makes a concrete promise.
Which is,
He assures Heyman Long, look, as soon as we've pushed the Jin back and recovered the Central Plains, my father, Yu Fei himself, will personally petition the emperor to grant your uncle, Li Shufu, that king title.
so a clear promise tied to their shared military goal.
Exactly. The alliance is now sealed not just by oath, but by a shared future objective and a guaranteed reward. Personal honor backs it up.
Okay, so crisis averted, alliance secured. What happens next?
Well, now that the deal is struck, Li Shufu comes to the Song camp. He's satisfied.
He meets Yu Fei.
Yes, he and Heyman Long meet Yu Fei and the other senior generals, the four marshals, Zhang, Han, Liu, and Yu Fei.
How does that go? Better than the meeting with Wuzhu, I assume.
Much better. Total respect on both sides now. Li Shufu praises them lavishly, calling them the pillars supporting heaven and beans supporting the sea.
High praise. Basically saying they're holding the whole dynasty together.
Precisely. And the Song host a grand banquet in their honor. Everything is cordial.
Good. So Li Shufu's forces join the Song army.
Well, here's where Yu Fei shows his strategic brilliance. After the feast, he pulls Li Shufu aside.
Okay.
And he tells him, you need to take your forces and go back to Yunnan immediately.
Go back? After they just swore allegiance? Why?
It's incredibly smart strategy. Yu Fei gives two reasons. First, the main fight is here, against the Jin, and the Song forces currently assembled can handle the upcoming battles. They don't need Li Shufu's troops right now.
Okay. And the second reason?
This is the key one. Yu Fei is worried about the stability of the southern border. He fears that if Li Shufu's large army is away up north fighting the Jin, other groups, other barbarians, as the text might put it, could see an opportunity.
An opportunity to invade Song territory while its main southern defender is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yu Fei realizes Li Shufu's greatest strategic value isn't adding soldiers to the northern front temporarily. It's keeping the peace and acting as a deterrent in his own region, Yunnan.
Wow. That's thinking multiple steps ahead. He's securing his flank by sending a potential ally away?
Right. It shows trust, respects Li Shufu's regional importance, saves Song resources, and actually strengthens the overall Song position by ensuring southern stability. It also subtly reinforces that the Song see him as the legitimate power in Yunnan.
And does Yu Fei mention the title again?
He does. He doubles down on the promise. He tells Li Shufu that once the Jin are defeated and the two captured emperors are brought back home, he, Yu Fei, will personally travel all the way to Yunnan to formally confer the king title.
A personal guarantee from the top general, that's huge.
Massive. It seals the deal completely. Li Shufu trusts this.
So Li Shufu agrees.
He agrees. The Song load him up with provisions for the journey, and he departs with his army.
And what about the new sworn brothers, Yu Yin and He Manlong?
There's a really nice final touch there. The night before Li Shufu leaves, Yu Yin and He Manlong stay up all night talking.
Just bonding.
Seems like it. Sharing stories, maybe making plans. The text says they promise to visit each other in the future. And the next morning, when He Manlong leaves with his uncle, their farewell is genuinely emotional. Tearful, even.
From trying to bash each other's heads in to weeping farewells, quite the turnaround.
It really is. It shows the depth of the connection they formed, beyond just politics. Yu Fei is so determined to figure out the Jin formation that he takes a massive risk.
He does. He grabs his trusted officer, Zhang Bao, and they sneak out of camp at night.
And they don't just scout the perimeter. They go into the woods near Phoenix Mountain, find a big tree, and actually climb it to spy on the Jin camp directly.
I mean, talk about leading from the front. He's literally putting himself in the line of fire just to get intel.
And it works, kind of. They get crucial information. The Jin had been boasting about having 2 million soldiers.
Standard practice.
But Yu Fei sees it's actually closer to 1 million. Still huge, but, not 2 million. And crucially, he identifies their big strategy.
Yes, the gold dragon coiling tail formation, the Jun.
Which the sources describe as basically two long snake formations, arranged head-to-head and tail-to-tail.
Right. It sounds complex, maybe even a bit static, like a giant trap rather than something designed for quick maneuvers.
Yeah, more like a layered death trap. That's exactly the sense I get. Designed to just enclose you and grind you down.
Precisely. It's built for attrition. Imagine these massive pincers not trying to crush you quickly, but just holding you, wrapping around you layer after layer until your army just breaks from the pressure.
Okay, so he's got this vital strategic information. He's probably thinking, right now we can plan, but then disaster strikes, personally.
Just as he turns his head, probably to climb down or talk to Zhang Bao, he hears that awful twang of a bowstring.
And an arrow slams right into his shoulder. He shouts out in pain.
The archer, whoever it was, just melts back into the shadows. They probably think, job done, revenge complete.
A really shocking moment. Exposed, vulnerable, right after getting the key intel. So Zhang Bao has to act fast.
He does. Pulls the arrow out, bandages the wound as best he can, and they scramble back to their own camp. But here's where it gets interesting.
Yeah, this part is crucial. Back in the tent, Yu Fei takes literally a miracle pill, one that had been given to him earlier by Nu Gao, another of his generals.
And the sources, well, they state it pretty dramatically. They say the arrow wound healed instantly.
A wounded commander looks weak, vulnerable, especially if the wound came from inside his own camp.
Exactly. But a marshal who miraculously recovers, who shrugs off an assassination attempt, that sends a powerful message. It shuts down any potential dissent or instability before it even starts.
So he turns a moment of physical weakness into, immediate political strength. He's unchallengeable again.
Pretty much. And because he's healed, he can deal with the traitor swiftly and decisively. He already knows who it is.
He summons Qi Fang. Yes, secretly.
Yep. Qi Fang was apparently holding a grudge. Yu Fei confronts him, points out that the reason Qi Fang is resentful Because he was beaten for disobeying orders during the Dongting campaign, Yu Fei was about maintaining discipline. Necessary discipline.
So Yu Fei frames Qi Fang's attack not just as personal revenge, but as actual treason, an attack on the whole army, the whole campaign.
And then he draws this stark contrast. He brings up Wang Zuo. Reminds everyone how Wang Zhu cut off his own arm out of loyalty.
Wow, okay.
And not just that, but how Wang Zhu recently provided that critical intelligence about the Jin's iron floating tuo. Intel that basically saved the army from potential annihilation.
Right.
So the comparison is brutal. Wang Zuo sacrifices himself and saves the army. Qi Fang nurses a grudge and tries to kill the commander.
But then Yu Fei does something unexpected, maybe. He shows mercy.
Well, he gives Qi Fang a letter and orders him to take it to Commander Zhang Jin, back in the rear base at Linenshao. Tells him to be gone before dawn.
So, banishment, essentially. Avoids a chaos right before a major battle. Seems calculated.
It does seem like very shrewd damage control.
It feels like a calculated risk, yeah. But as it turns out, it's a risk that resolves itself very quickly. Because fate, or maybe just New Gao's vigilance, steps in.
Right. Qi Fang is trying to sneak out of camp before dawn, following orders, presumably feeling, well, who knows what he was feeling. Lucky. Resentful still.
And he runs straight into New Gao, who's doing the night patrol rounds. And New Gao is already suspicious because he'd heard or seen that the marshal was wounded earlier.
And New Gao just doesn't buy it. Sees this officer trying to slip away with a letter, claims it's official business. New Gao puts two and two together. The marshal's wound, this guy's secret departure.
He connects the dots. Resentment, opportunity, escape.
And New Gao isn't one for lengthy investigations, apparently. His justice is immediate.
Wow.
And incredibly violent.
He pulls out his weapon, his signature mace.
And strikes Qi Fang down. Kills him instantly. The source material is quite graphic. It mentions his brain fluid streaming out.
Oof. Okay. So New Gao just dealt with it. Then he reports back.
Yeah, he goes back, presumably shows Yu Fei whatever proof was necessary. And Yu Fei's reaction is chillingly pragmatic.
What does he say?
He basically says, oh, I'd forgotten Yu Gao was on patrol tonight. And then concludes simply, it was his fate.
Wow. So, plausible deniability. He technically ordered mercy, banishment, but the fate delivered by New Gao achieves the necessary military outcome.
The next day, the news gets out, partially at least. Two other officers, Luo Gang and Hao Xiang, they hear about Qi Fang, maybe worry they're implicated or just scared by the ruthlessness, and they desert.
In Yu Fei's reaction.
He just dismisses it, lets them go. Orders Qi Fang's head to be displayed for one day as a warning, then buried. Internal crisis. Managed. Efficiently, brutally, and largely kept under wraps.
Okay, so with that incredibly tense internal drama resolved, they have to immediately pivot, the external threat having gone away.
Not at all. Harmi Qi, the Jin commander, finishes setting up his big gold dragon array, sends over a formal challenge to Yu Fei.
And Yu Fei accepts. Battle set for the next day. So we shift gears completely now, right? From this tight, dark personal betrayal to just sheer scale.
Total shift. This is where you see the combined strength of the Song alliances. It's not just Yu Fei's army. They bring together 4 marshals. Yu, Zhang, Han, and Lu.
And the troop count.
Staggering. The sources say a combined force of 600,000 soldiers.
600,000 men marching against this formation designed to swallow armies whole.
Yeah.
The strategy had to be absolutely spot on.
It had to be. And it was based on countering that specific two-snake structure of the Jin array. The plan was Yu and Zhang take their forces and hit the left flank, the left long snake.
Okay, pin down that side.
Right. Meanwhile, Han and Lu take the right flank, attacking the right long snake, 2 huge holding actions on the wings.
Keeping the pincers busy. But the real punch, the hope for actually breaking through this thing, that was the center force, wasn't it?
That was everything, the absolute focal point. And just look who they put in charge of that central thrust. The sources list 12 commanders.
12. Okay, that tells you something right there.
It really does. It's not just a vanguard. It's basically their elite strike force. You've got Yu Fei's own son, Yu Yun, right at the front, alongside guys like Yan Chengfeng, He Wangqing, Yu Wulong, Luo Yanqing, Wu Shengzi, Lu Wenlong. A real hero in these stories, Zheng Huai, Zheng Ku, Zhang Xian, Zhang Li, and Zhang Yong.
That's the A-team. Their best fighters, their most famous heroes, all concentrated for one single high-risk assault right into the heart of the formation.
Absolutely. The stakes couldn't be higher. They signal the attack with 3 huge cannon shots, apparently loud enough to shake the sky.
And the initial charge is led by this specific mix of weapons designed for close, heavy fighting, right?
Exactly. 6 commanders wielding maces, 6 with spears, Lu Wenlong with his unique silver halberd and 3 more with heavy bronze or iron clubs. They're aiming to smash, not just pierce.
Trying to crack that dense structure. Because the whole point of the Gold Dragon array, these scissor stock shapes, is to just wrap around you, isn't it?
Yes. Layer after layer. The sources are very clear. You can't break through it, you can't scatter it, kill the guys in front of you, and more just step up from behind, constantly keeping you surrounded.
It sounds utterly terrifying. Not a battle of maneuver, but a battle of sheer endurance inside a meat grinder.
That's exactly what it becomes. It relies on overwhelming pressure, constant reinforcement from within its own ranks. So the moment the Song forces charge in, it just descends into absolute chaos.
The descriptions are intense. You have generals like Yu Fei himself with his torrent spring spear, Zhang Bao and Wang Heng swinging their clubs and maces, just trying to carve out space.
But they're instantly swallowed up. The fighting is so fierce, so dense, the sources say the sky and earth go dark. Sunlight just disappears under the dust and the sheer mass of fighting men.
And the weapons they face coming out of the formation, it's everything.
Everything imaginable for close quarters brutality. Pitchforks, spears, axes, shovels even, maces, swords, halberds, those nasty wolf-tooth clubs, plus constant fire from bows and crossbows.
The text is blunt about it, isn't it? It says basically, whoever you run into, you die, or they die. There's no room, no escape, just constant deadly pressure. Delay, he's a former Vanguard officer from Jinmen Town, right? And he's arriving with some, let's say, emotional baggage.
Oh, definitely. Significant baggage. Delay had run off early because he thought he'd mistakenly offended the marshal, that's Yu Fei, during some past chase incident. So he's not really showing up now for glory or, a promotion.
He's seeking something else.
Exactly. He's looking for redemption. He turns up with his trademark twin silver hammers, aiming to, quote, win merit and atone for his fault. His goal is service, deep down, not just winning for winning's sake.
So he's trying to find a way back into Yu Fei's good graces.
Okay.
Then he bumps into Fan Cheng, also young, under 20, carrying a gold-chiseled spear. Fan Cheng's reason, compared to Delay's sort of penance quest, is much simpler, isn't it? It's about family.
Yeah, pure kinship. He's actually the brother-in-law of Meng Bangji, who's one of Yu Fei's trusted commanders already fighting inside. So Fan Cheng is basically just there to help out.
To lend a hand.
Literally, to lend him an arm, Hisokuri, as the text puts it. He's like the supportive family member stepping up in a crisis. A very grounded, very pragmatic loyalty there.
And then comes the third arrival, the one who immediately just elevates the whole scene through, well, his lineage and just sheer presence. Guanling.
Ah, yes, Guanling.
This is where the story explicitly connects this current battle back to those grand, almost legendary heroes from past literature, right?
Absolutely. Guanling is presented as the son of the famous Guansheng, the great saber of Liang Shampo. That connection, it works as this instant narrative anchor, doesn't it? It immediately tells the reader, okay, this kid's got skills.
And he's also under 20, looks striking. The text mentions a face like a dark jujube, phoenix eyes, silkworm eyebrows. Plus, he's sworn brothers with Yu Fei's own son, Yu Yun.
Fall piece is setting him up.
And the dynamic shifts instantly when he gets there. Because while Delay and Fan Cheng were kind of hesitating outside the formation, maybe a bit unsure where to attack all those Jin soldiers or how to even approach the array structure. I mean, they were worried about its complexity, right?
Yeah, they were understandably intimidated.
Guanling just cuts right through all that strategic hand-wringing.
He does. He basically dismisses the overthinking, his strategy. It's just pure, confident aggression, likely, informed by that famous lineage. He insists they're upright men, they're here to help, so forget the complexities of the Golden Dragon array.
Just go for it.
Just charge straight into the absolute center. He refuses to be intimidated by the scale or the structure of the enemy forces. It's a very direct approach.
And that simple, bold move is exactly what was needed, apparently. They agree right away, charge in, and suddenly the battle shifts. It goes from this sort of static defensive formation to a terrifying, concentrated shockwave delivered by just 3 young guys.
And the description is pretty graphic. Hammering, spearing, chopping. It turns the area into a slaughterhouse. The text says, human heads rolling, flesh becoming mud. This focused, youthful energy, it acts like a surgical strike, cutting right to the core of the defense.
Understandably, the Jin generals are terrified. They report back to Wuzhu, saying something like, These three small southern barbarians, they're unbelievably brave. They've reached the center, and none of our regular commanders can stop them.
Yeah, and that's a huge moment. Wuzhu realizes his whole array is compromised. He has to come down from his command platform, swaps his signal flags for his battle axe, and goes to challenge them himself. He demands to know who dares crash his party, essentially.
And Guanling, just full of that legendary swagger, answers the challenge. Not with fear, not with humility, but with total defiance. He announces who he is, Quan Cheng's son, and then asks Wuzhu for his name. Why?
Because he intends to, quote, mark the head for his first merit. He's already planning to take Wuzhu down.
Wow. That exchange, it just sets the stakes incredibly high, shows Guanling's unshakable loyalty right off the bat. But then there's this really weird pause in the action, isn't there?
Yes. It's fascinating. Wuzhu, who is genuinely impressed, it seems, by Guanling's imposing presence and obvious skill, he actually stops the fight and tries to recruit him on the spot.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that Wuzhu puts a life-or-death battle on hold for an impromptu HR session. What does that tell us? Is it real respect for skill? Or maybe just desperation, trying to save his collapsing formation? He offers Guanling a kingship, eternal prosperity.
Well, I think it's probably a desperate, maybe cynical move, dressed up as respect. Wuzhu's a smart commander. He sees this one exceptional talent could wreck everything, so maybe he's trying to neutralize the threat with a bribe.
Makes sense.
But Guanling's refusal is absolute. He just mocks the prince, calls him a treasure item he stumbled upon, and demands his head as a, get this, meeting gift.
A meeting gift. Okay, so Wuzhu is enraged. They fight one-on-one for about 10 rounds, which honestly says a lot about Guanling's skill right there.
It does, but the narrative makes it clear. 3 heads are definitely better than 1 here. As soon as Delay with his hammers and Fan Cheng with his spear jump in, Wuzhu is just completely overwhelmed by the combined assault.
He can't handle these 3 tiger cubs, as the text calls them.
Nope. He's forced into this really humiliating retreat, actually running around the array. And the irony is just profound. By running to save his own skin, he avoids the proper exit paths, and this actually causes the Golden Dragon array to break down even more. It gets totally scattered.
So the commander's flight leads to the array's collapse.
Huh. Pretty much his own escape fractures his own formation.
Okay, so the central defense is broken. The chaos actually allows for some really satisfying personal moments inside the array now, right? Reunions happen.
Yes, exactly. Guanling finds his sworn brother, Yu Yin, calls him elder brother Yu. Fan Cheng finds his brother-in-law, Meng Bangji.
And critically, this ties back to what you said earlier about personal alignment. Delay finally finds Marshal Yufei himself.
Right. This is the crucial narrative prerequisite we sort of hinted at. Delay gives his sincere apology for that past misunderstanding, promises to serve the country, and Yufei immediately accepts him.
No hesitation from Yufei either.
None. This acceptance completes Delay's personal redemption arc, which means all 4 individuals who are about to unleash this climactic attack are now fully, personally, ethically aligned with the Marshal's cause.
The stage is set. And this leads to the tactical moment that really defines this whole battle in the literature. Yeah. With Delay now part of the team, 4 warriors using hammers combine their forces in this perfectly coordinated, utterly devastating assault.
Yes, you've got Yu Yin with his silver hammers, Yan Qingfang with gold hammers, He Yongqing using iron hammers, and now Delay bringing his double hammers. 4 warriors, 8 hammers total.
8 hammers.
And the description really emphasizes the visual spectacle, you know. Gold flashing, silver shining, this cold energy flying everywhere. It sounds incredible.
And this overwhelming focused attack becomes instantly legendary. It gets its own specific name. The 8 hammers cause great havoc at Zuxianchen.
Mm-hmm. That name sticks.
This single named tactical force just crushes the remaining Jin soldiers and seems to completely break Wuzhu's spirit.
The result is immediate and total. Wuzhu is utterly defeated. He flees in a total rout for over 20 li. For context, that's like, what, 7 miles?
7 miles, yeah. That shows the sheer scale of the pursuit, the desperation of his flight. But amidst this huge victory, the sources slip in this peculiar little detail that sets up the next twist. Commander Lu Qi suddenly leaves the array with his troops.
Without telling Yufei.
Without telling Yufei?
Yeah.
That should make you pause, right? Why would a commander just break ranks like that, even during a win?
It suggests Lu Qi had his own plan brewing. Maybe an independent maneuver, something pre-planned, perhaps anticipating Wuzhu's likely escape route. He's ready to capitalize.
So while the 8 hammers are busy mopping up the main battlefield, fate is already turning against Wuzhu again, somewhere else.
Precisely. Lu Qi has taken a Xiaolu, it means like a small path, a goat path, some obscure route, and he successfully intercepts Wuzhu's main fleeing army. He sets up an ambush, blocking the road with wooden stakes.
And deploys archers.
Right. Bowmen hidden, ready to fire.
It's the perfect trap, really. Designed to turn a rout into total annihilation. The arrows come down like flying locusts, the text says. Wuzhu's forces can't escape that way. He has no choice but to turn sharply, flee down the only path left available to him, the left route.
And that path, unfortunately for him, leads straight to Jinni Ridge, Golden Bull Ridge.
Which is described as the ultimate geographical trap.
Exactly. The sources paint it as this incredibly dangerous, inaccessible pass. Sharp peaks, steep rock walls, totally impassable for horses, apparently difficult even for a single person on foot. So Wuzhu is now caught. Lethal ambush behind him, insurmountable cliff ahead.
Nowhere to go. The despair must have hit him instantly. He realizes he's completely trapped. This man commanded over 600,000 troops, aimed to conquer the Central Plains. And now his army is gone, and he's cornered.
He says he has no face left to show his generals. The shame is overwhelming.
The end is just overwhelmingly dramatic. Wuzhu screams out, realizing this is heaven dooming me. And then in this final desperate act, he throws himself against the stone wall.
Tries to end it all right there.
It's the ultimate cliffhanger ending for a villain, isn't it? Commander of 600,000 soldiers, reduced to this desperate, uncertain suicide attempt. He hits the ground, apparently with a huge crash, and the final line just leaves us hanging.